The Arizona Department of Revenue wants you to be successful when filing your business's transaction privilege tax returns. In the course of this video, we will look at some of the top reasons returns do not process correctly to your TPT account and how they can be avoided. The main reason TPT paper returns do not process correctly is that they're filed by paper. Filing online at aztaxes.gov reduces the chance of errors because most of the information included on your return is pre-populated for you based on your TPT license information. If you must file by paper and you have an annual waiver in place, let's make sure to file appropriately. First, let's start by reviewing the taxpayer information portion of the return. 3 boxes are listed right under the section header: the amended return, the final return, and the no gross receipts boxes. Only check one of these boxes if they pertain to the return you are currently filing. Amended return means you have already filed a return for this period and you need to make a correction. Remember, amended returns completely replace the original, so it is necessary to complete the entire return and not just the section you wish to amend. The final return, cancel license option, means just that. Only check this box if this is the last TPT return because you are no longer in business and you want ADOR to close your TPT license. The last box is only marked when you have no gross receipts or taxable business activity for the reporting period. Accidentally marking any of these boxes could cause your return to suspend or not sync to your account when processing. Now let's look at the information requested on the right side of the return. The information listed in this box must be accurate. Start by entering your taxpayer identification number and indicate whether this is a Social Security number or an employer identification number. Then enter your TPT license number. Double and triple check that the numbers written here are correct. If the numbers are transposed or are not written clearly, your return will not be processed to your account. For the period beginning date, this should always reflect the first day of the month in the period. For the period ending date, this should always reflect the last day of the month in the period. The rest of the boxes in this section are for ADOR use only, so don't enter anything here. The tax computation section of the return is calculated for you when you use the fillable PDFs available under the Forms section of the azdor.gov website. Finally, on page 1 of the return is the signature box. The individual completing the return should print their name, sign, and date the return. A valid phone number and title should also be provided in the event there are any questions regarding this return. Now let's get into the details of the return and some common errors that are encountered. The first common error seen is with region codes. Region codes are used to report and disperse revenue to the jurisdictions in which it was collected. County region codes consist of 3 letters. For instance, the region code for Maricopa County is MAR. City-town region codes consist of only 2 letters. For instance, the region code for Gilbert is GB. These region codes are not always intuitive, so check the tax rate table available on azdor.gov to ensure you are reporting using the correct region codes. Next, let's discuss deductions. Deductions and deduction codes account for a number of errors when attempting to process paper returns. These errors can be minimized by filing online at aztaxes.gov. However, for those that file by paper, let's briefly discuss these. Deductions are accounted for in several different areas on the TPT return. County deductions are entered by region code and business code on the State-County Transaction Details page. Then, they are detailed out by region code, business code, deduction code, and amount on the Schedule A deduction detail at the bottom of the TPT-EZ or on page 6 of the TPT-2. City-town deductions are entered by location code, region code, and business code in the City-Town Transaction Details. These are then specified by location code, city code, business code, deduction code, and amount in the Schedule A deduction detail at the bottom of the TPT-EZ or on the last page of the TPT-2. Several issues could arise when entering deduction codes. First, ensure the deduction code being reported is applicable to the business classification being reported. Next, ensure the totals entered in the transaction detail tables equal the totals entered into the corresponding Schedule A. Verifying that this information is correct will reduce the likelihood of the TPT return processing incorrectly or rejecting a deduction. Moving on, let's tackle tax rates. As you may be aware, the tax rate is the rate at which your business activity is taxed. These rates can vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction and taxable activity to taxable activity. Another common error that we see for those filing by paper is that the incorrect tax rate is used for your business activity and jurisdiction. When an incorrect rate is used, it could cause a balance due on your account. An easy way to keep this from happening is to sign up to receive the monthly TPT newsletter. This newsletter will include information such as return and payment due dates, tax rate changes, and dates of taxpayer workshops. Another way to ensure you are always using the correct rate, aside from filing on aztaxes.gov, is to view the tax rate tables available on azdor.gov monthly or use the aztaxes.gov AZ Tax Rate Lookup tool. Column K and Column L on the county transaction details correspond to the accounting credit. This accounting credit is available to those that file and pay their returns by the established due dates. Timely electronic filers get an increased accounting credit. Just another reason to file online at aztaxes.gov. Something important to know about the accounting credit is that this credit is only available at the state level and does not apply to all business classifications. View the last two columns of Table 1 of the tax rate table to see if your business classification is eligible to receive the accounting credit. If the credit is claimed by an ineligible business or any return and subsequent returns that have not been timely filed, this credit will be disallowed, resulting in a balance due on your account. Before we finish discussing the return, we want to take just a second to talk about location codes. A location code is a unique 3-digit code assigned by the department to identify the location or locations where business transactions are taking place. This location code can be found on the TPT license and must be included in the city transaction details of the return. And now, lastly, a few additional helpful hints. Many of these reference documents can be found on the azdor.gov website under Transaction Privilege Tax Quick Reference. Only submit one original return per TPT license per filing period. If more than one return is submitted and there is no evidence of amended information, this could cause errors on your account. Make sure the math is correct. Your return will not process appropriately if the amount of tax reported does not match the amount of tax calculated by the ADOR accounting system. Be sure to complete all sections of the return, and if your return spans multiple pages, make sure to send in all pages for processing. If any part of the return is missing, information will be processed incorrectly, resulting in an unnecessary balance on your account. If you receive correspondence from the Arizona Department of Revenue, make sure to open and read it. These letters could mean that something happened with your return. Read the letter and let us help you take action. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. We are here to help. And finally, filing your returns online using aztaxes.gov could save you from all of the errors mentioned in this video.